Jose, that looked like a very satisfying afternoon for you. Did the game plan work pretty much perfectly?
The 3 points, of course, are very important. I think by the strategic point of view, we understood well how they could hurt us and how we could hurt them. And in that aspect, of course, I'm happy. I still think that we can and we have to do better.
Obviously, it was a good team performance with the qualifications you've just said, but what a sensational front duo you have. Kane and Sonny, they just work together so well.
Of course, the understanding is good, and against Leeds was important that mobility in attack, because they mark man to man, and if you stay in static positions, you give them an easy job. When you have mobility, it's a bit more difficult for them. So that movement of Kane appearing on the right side and Sonny in the finishing position fit well with our game plan.
Is there a better duo in the Premier League at the moment right now than Kane and Son?
I think in the Premier League there are many good players everywhere, even in clubs where sometimes you don't believe they can have great players. But in this moment in the Premier League are great players in every club. But I have to say that Sonny and Harry, they are doing special things this season. Special
things because they've scored 76% of Spurs Premier League goals this season. It's a nice problem to have, but would you like the team to contribute more to that?
No, of course not. I want goals coming from other players. I want players to feel that they can express themselves and appear in finishing areas. Today we had Toby, but of course was in a set play. But we had other players in positions to score. Højbjerg, Ndombele, I saw Bergwijn. We had players from other positions appearing in finishing positions, which is what I want from them.
Everyone's been saying Leeds are a tricky side to take on, but it was very important for you to win this game today and start the year on the front foot after 4 games.
No, when people were saying after we played the considered top 6 teams, people were saying easier matches are coming. Of course, I don't believe in it. Leeds is a team capable to create problems to anyone, and the next one, Aston Villa, is my favorite team in the Premier League at the moment. Is a team that I enjoy more watch. Is a team with lots of very good players, of course, very well coached, and this is what is waiting for us.
Good start to the year, an important win against energetic and tricky challengers.
Yeah, it was a really difficult game. Obviously, we know how they're doing. You know, they're doing an unbelievable job. They're working so hard, and yeah, we've been great chances from the start of game, and yeah, get the clean sheet 3-0. I think start the new year with a fantastic.
And your goal, the second goal, that was a great strike. It's your 100th for Tottenham. I'm sure you knew that beforehand, did you?
Yeah, obviously, yes. I couldn't wait for that long, and obviously I'm very, very happy and very grateful for the teammates, the staff, everyone who is supporting me, and it's not coming automatically with my alone. Obviously, I need them. I need a lot of help about this big achievement, and I'm really, really proud. But the most important thing is that we got clean sheet here, and then with the 3 goals.
You say a big achievement. You're the first Spurs player to score 100 goals who's beyond the UK and Ireland. That's quite an elite club.
Oh yeah, this I didn't know that. And yeah, obviously, it's not coming automatically with my alone. Obviously, I need them. I need a lot of help about this big achievement, and I'm really, really proud. But the most important thing is that we got clean sheet here, and then with the 3 goals.
You say a big achievement. You're the first Spurs player to score 100 goals who's beyond the UK and Ireland. That's quite an elite club.
Oh yeah, this I didn't know that. And yeah, obviously, score 100 goals with the one team is obviously something big things, and I'm very Harry's try final with me. So obviously when I was there, so obviously the ball was perfect to me, and yeah, I think it's sometimes it's telepathy, sometimes we're talking about.
Yeah, you two have scored 76% of Spurs' goals in the Premier League. Maybe, like Toby today, maybe you need a little bit more help from the others, eh?
Obviously, I really don't mind, and obviously, I'm really hopeful that other guys also to score goals. I'm will be very, very happy. But as soon as when we get 3 points, it doesn't matter who scored the goals, who assists. I think it's not important. But yeah, we're working hard for every single time to get 3 points.
And after 4 Premier League games without the win, today brings you back into the pack. It's a pretty unpredictable season, but at least you're back in the chase now.
Yeah, obviously, I think it was very important. We dropped the points, and sometimes we're a bit unlucky, a bit of the concentration as well, and last minute set pieces obviously was really painful. But I think start New Year, what I say all the time, because it was a first game of New Year, and then back to winning ways is very important. We obviously it's still a long way to go, but it's a great start New Year, and we have to keep going the winning ways.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much.
He looked like he was still trying to catch his breath after that performance today. 100 goals in 253 Tottenham appearances. How good has he been then for Spurs?
Incredible. I don't think he gets the credit where he deserves. I think he does from the professionals, but I think from the outside, I think the Tottenham fans appreciate him. Let me tell everyone, this kid could play any team in the world, anywhere. I mean, he's capable of playing for Liverpool or the Champions in the Premier League, because he can play off the left, the right, down the middle. He's adaptable. He's so versatile, and he's a team player. You see the work under a new regime now with Jose Mourinho, and he wants him to defend a little bit. He's happy to do anyone, but that guy's got it in bundles. If you're a reference, as other managers saying, look at him, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
But he's a superstar because he works hard.
Yeah. Michael, we saw there the breakdown of his 100 goals, 41 with his left foot. That took you by surprise, didn't it?
Well, it did. It shows he's an all-round player. I think only 4 with his head, which is quite, I don't know, quite normal in this day and age. I think there's less and less headers. You know, back in the day, I think we used to cross the ball a lot more. Now it's little cutbacks, and if there is a cross, it's in behind. You know, like his goal, for example. So yeah, I was quite interested in that, the way he scored as many as he has with his left foot. Very, you know, two-footed. Obviously, that shows. I'm sure mine would have been 92, 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Tim's called it right. He's an unbelievable player. One of the best players in the world now. Certainly one of the best players in the Premier League. And his improvement, and it's been great to be able to watch that improvement over recent seasons, because right at the start he was a very good player. There's no question, year on year you can see that improvement.
Do you agree with Tim in that?
Improvement over recent seasons, because right at the start he was a very good player. There's no question, year on year you can see that improvement.
Do you agree with Tim in that sometimes he hasn't always got that credit that you think he deserves?
Well, I think a lot of people are quick to form an opinion of players, and if you formed an opinion of him when he first came over, you'd think decent player. And people are quite stubborn, and they don't tend to change their mind. And because he's got better and better and better, I think some people are eating the words from what they first thought. So yeah, I think he's developed into a tremendous player, and as I say, one of the best in the Premier League and the world.
Yeah, and this understanding he's got with Harry Kane, which we'll look at in more detail in a second, is that something that comes naturally or something that needs to be worked on?
I think naturally, to a point. Good players can, you know, they've just got a sixth sense with other good players. You're just on the same wavelengths. And some people play football because they're very good physically, they can run. Some people are just very, very clever at the game. And I think once you get 2 players that are on that wavelength, then you see magic happening. And I think these 2 are like that. They've got a telepathic understanding. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to know the other person's strengths and weaknesses, so when you are playing alongside them for a long period of time, it helps. But I think you can walk into any team. Son can walk into a different team and play with top players and straight away hit it off.
Yeah. I think it's the cleverness of the footballer, the brain, the footballing brain. I think if you said to Sonny, we sat him down here and we said, tell me all the attributes of Harry Kane, he'd be able to tell you to a T. When he receives the ball in certain areas of the field, whether Harry can find him or whether he can't, and vice versa. Harry would be exactly the same, because they're intelligent players, they think about the game, and they've been with each other for 6 years. That's an awful long time. They don't have to do too much work on the training field. He's watching, he's observing Harry, and Harry's observing Sonny on the training field. They played together so many times now. I mean, they've got other talented players there, but you can't break up this partnership.
No.
76% of the goals this season
it's
have
incredible,
come from them
isn't it?
too. Just shows you how important it is. But It's also good management, because what he's done is put a solid base in behind them, some better players who are not actually getting a game. When Gareth Bale comes to the club, everyone thought, well, it's going to be the threesome up there. Can't get a kick at the... I know he's injured at the moment. Can't get a kick at the football. He wants a nice solid base in behind these two and let them two world-class players do the damage.
And it's underestimated as well, Manish, in terms of a football brain. What separates the great from the, from the good? Harry Kane, is he quicker than anyone else? No. Has he got more skill than anyone? No. As I say, it's a footballing intelligence, a football brain, making the right decisions, spotting things before they happen, in anticipation. And as I say, you go through your career playing with, 400 players or something in my career as a rough guess. But I could count only probably 20, 30 of them that are right on the sharp end of having, almost a genius footballing brain.
Thank you.
And Tim's right.
Tim's right.
Do we play alongside a few times?
Let's have a look at Son's goal then. Interestingly, when we saw this, me and Tim were almost waxing lyrical about the past. Let's have a look at Son's goal then. Interestingly, when we saw this, me and Tim were almost waxing lyrical about the pass, but maybe it's a typical striker's thing, Michael. You preferred the finish.
Well, I'm not going to say it's easy. Like, Harry Kane's touch there's great, and he can see something developing. And don't get me wrong, but if I asked him to do that now, he'd be able to do it. Playing a ball with that pace, that bend into that type of area, you can do it. It's very good. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's meat and drink for Harry Kane to be able to do it. The timing of that run is unbelievable. You're having to predict not only what Harry Kane's going to do when he's going to pull the trigger and cross it, but you're having to predict the defender. How and when can I get just in front of him? And his timing of the run and the finish was just sublime.
They have now joined a certain Shearer and Sutton. I can't remember who their captain was at Blackburn Rovers back then. He sat two alongside me here in the studio, Tim. I mean, they've done well to equal those two because they were special in itself, but 13 from the first 16 games, that's simply incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're going to break that easily. I mean, let's not forget, they were champions that year as well, Shearer and Sutton.
And how good were those two?
Well, they were great. They were different types of players, Sonny and Kane, I think, are more versatile. They got more to their game. Look, Chris Sutton was a big target man. He used to knock things down, but Sonny runs into the channels, he breaks down, he picks the ball up deep. Harry Kane is a 10. None of them did that, two strikers. But in them days, we played with two strikers. These days, we don't hardly play with two. So they're playing maybe three across the top. But then we know now, under this new Jose regime, it's not about that. It's about one. Sonny's up there on his own, really. There's someone half doing it, Bergwijn or Lamella, who it may be on the right-hand side, and Kane's dropping into that 10 role. So to get them numbers is incredible. But I think it is, I know Sonny complimented his teammates, but it is all about the team ethic behind them. They are shining them in the correct light at the moment, but they're getting so limited amount of chances, and they're clinical with their finishing.
I find it hard to look at that graphic there and think, so you envisage, right there, that 13, was it?
Yeah.
So, and they're not even halfway through the season. So you're thinking 25 to 30 involvement. I mean, it's going to blitz everything we've ever seen. Now, am I sceptical in thinking, that can't be right? We've had unbelievable partnerships in the past, so how can they be more than double better than everyone else? And part of me is thinking, is it because the Spurs are so one-dimensional in a way? They literally defend deep, don't they, and say, right, you two go and cause havoc. Yeah. Whereas a lot of other great teams, let's say you'd have great wingers in your day at Blackburn. You'd have bursting midfielders. You'd have other people that would contribute so much. But I'm almost, and I don't know, I shouldn't be cynical, I suppose, but I'm almost thinking some things that are, look too good to be true. They often are. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, there must be something behind that. Is it they're so reliant on those two players? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? If one of them or both of them, God forbid, got injured, where would they be then?
Mind you, there was a split second today where it looked like there was a double knockout. Both of them were on the floor. Spurs fans, that's the ultimate nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you lose either one of them, it's a big blow. But for me, the brains of the operation is Harry Kane. I think if you lose him, I think you've got a serious problem. Yeah. Serious problem, because they're so good. But not only are they good on the creative side, and they're clinical with their finishing. It's also the gamesmanship of Harry Kane. You know, when he's up there on his own, it breaks into that half space in like the midfield areas. He buys free kicks, settles the team down, takes them up the field. And in contrast, Sonny, when he picks up the ball, he runs it away. He runs it up the field, gets a corner, gets a throw in the final third, takes the whole team up. I think they're so reliant on these two. But a lot of teams are reliant on their top players. I mean, Jamie Vardy, we'd say, if you look at when he broke all the records when they won the Premier League, they were so reliant on him because the game plan was, well, he's our biggest threat. Let's play to his strength, which is off the shoulder. And the goals he scored in consecutive games, he broke all sorts of records, didn't he, Jamie? And you can say that about a lot of teams. I think the teams we think have more of a chance are the teams like Man United, are the teams like Man City and Liverpool, where they share the goals around the team. We think have more of a chance are the teams like Man United, are the teams like Man City and Liverpool, where they share the goals around the team. I'm not sure. Like, that is a big stat. 76% of the goals coming from them two. Hopefully they can keep them fit and they can put a charge in right to the end of the season. But recent history suggests they can't do that.
No.
Both of them have had long periods out of the game.
One thing, you spoke about Son's 41 goals with his left foot. So of your 150 Premier League goals, how many came from your weaker side, do you think?
Oh, no. 15?